Hey guys, so this week I've been playing Dragon Age 2. I reviewed the last one and I loved the death out of it, especially Claudia Black, as you'll remember. I'm totally obsessed with her. Anyways, she's not in this one, but is it good anyways? I mean, can a game be good without having Claudia Black in it? Probably not. But anyways, here's my opinion of Dragon Age 2.
If you thought Dragon Age 2 was just going to be a direct sequel of the first game, you're only partly right. Dragon Age 2 is more of a side story in the greater Dragon Age universe. In this game, you play as Hawk, a human refugee from Ferelden. You and your family barely escape the Blight and make your way to the city of Kirkwall. And it's here in this great city-state that you and your family have to make new lives for yourselves. Kirkwall is filled with all the same great characters and plots that you would expect in a Bioware game, it's just condensed into this one small area. The game's whole story is meant to be a slightly smaller scope than the first game. You're not running around to different areas of the world trying to save everyone from the Blight. You're doing things like easing tensions between the humans and the Qunari, or going to the deep roads to search for profit. All of this really shifts the focus from the broad, saving the world aspects of the first game to a more personal story. You as the player is really just watching the great moments in this character's life and shaping the legend that he or she becomes.
That can't be good.
Just like in the first game, you meet many different characters throughout your travels that you can add to your party and or try and bang. All the character interaction and the backstories are all really good, which is what you would expect from a Bioware game. And because the game's story takes place over about a decade, you get to see how the decisions you make affect all these characters in this world.
I like big boats, I cannot lie.
The combat in the game has also been slightly tweaked. While it still feels very familiar to anyone who played the last game, it added some more action-y elements to sort of pick up the pace, add some more tension and action and, violence. Obviously, there's lots more violence and explosions and everyone going and blood and guts everywhere. The combat still has the sort of strategic aspects that the last game had, but it's a little more accessible to, I guess, other people playing this game, but definitely not everyone's happy about the changes.
I mean, Dragon Age 2 is like the worst game that's ever happened. I mean, the combat's stupid, the writing's different. I mean, my Dragon Age 2 fanfiction's way better.
The game also lets you import your saves from Dragon Age Origin, so you can bring over some of the decisions you made. Unfortunately, your choices in the last game only have a very minor tangential relationship to this game. Based on what you picked in the last game, you might see a different character in some dialogue option, or maybe a slightly tweaked side quest, but overall it really has very little effect on the core game. I personally was hoping that my choices in the last game would have a lot more effect on this game, but based on the ending of this game, it looks like Dragon Age 3 is going to be sort of a convergence of these two stories. Hopefully.
Dragon Age 2 is really interesting because it's taken all the foundation of Dragon Age and sort of trimmed the fat a little bit. It's made it not so much simpler, and I wouldn't say more accessible. It taken things like the combat and made it different. It made it a little bit more actiony, a little bit more visually stunning, but still, it's kind of the same stuff that you did in the last game, just a little tweak. And everything about the game is just a little tweaked, and some of them aren't as good as others. Like, the story concept is really interesting because it takes sort of, instead of going the whole grand, huge everything, it, sums it all down. It's very personal. It's about your character's little life and his interactions, which I think is great. I just feel like it doesn't have the drive. You're not really sure why you're participating in all these events. It just, why am I doing this? I don't know. My motivations aren't very clear, but it's interesting. But the characters are all really great. All your companions and the side characters, it's great that you have this core group of people that you're with the entire time, either with them or against them in some way, and it's really great. They really have just done characters so much better, I think. Well, not better. Like, they've done a lot of really good things about the characters in this, that which is one of the big improvements. Overall, I would say that it is great if you love Dragon Age, but it's not a massive improvement. It's more like a half step. Dragon Age 1.5 than a full like Bioware sequel. But it's really good though. You'll get lost in it and spend hours and hours and have to replay it and try all the stuff over again like every other Bioware game.